As it's been a little while, I thought I'd better make a video as it's coming up to Christmas. So I thought I'd revisit a popular video from the past that I've been asked to do again. And this is cleaning my daily driver. My last daily driver video I did was back when I had my blue little Lupo that was modified and slammed to the floor with its nice wheels. Nowadays you'll find me driving this blue/grey Audi TT 225 on a 52 plate. To be honest, I'm really happy with the car. Great fun little car. Don't only get to drive it on the weekends, but that's what makes it good fun. So as I start all maintenance washes, I make sure my jet wash is plugged in and ready to go. The jet wash I use is a Kranzle K10, a very compact little machine. It cost quite a bit of money. I think I paid in the £400 for it, but worth every penny. First up is the wheels, obviously, and I use an Finesse hog hair detailing brush, a big ease detailing brush to get to the back of the wheels, a long reach Vicam brush for my wheel arches, and then also a Finesse wash mitt for the faces and behind the spokes of the wheels. This is helped along by a generous helping of Adam's car soap. Adam's car soap's all I need really when I'm doing my wheels, because I've previously protected and detailed the wheels, so the grime never builds up too much, and when it does, it easily washes off, as you'll be able to see. I'll start by jet washing the tyre and the arch, and then work my way down into the wheel. Once I've done that, I tend to go over the surrounding wheel arch area of the paint as well, and try and knock off any loose grime that might be on the paint before then applying my pre-wash later. Don't ask me why I do it, just think I've always done. What's protecting my wheels here? I've got FK1000 on here. I previously had mint rims on, but I was doing some bits and pieces with some FK1000 about a month or two ago, so I thought I'd quickly go over the wheels whilst I had it out. Offers great durability and great protection on the wheels, and just helps generally keep them clean when it comes to maintenance detailing them. And as I showed in the previous McLaren carbon brake care video I did, I start with the usual kind of wheel routine that anyone should know and should do, which is starting at the back of the wheel with the barrel. For this I use my big ease detailing brush once it's loaded up with some nice car shampoo, and I work from top to bottom, making sure I cover each area. Making sure you work top to bottom will ensure that the suds runs down and lubricates further parts of the wheels that you're yet to clean. Of course you can do it other ways, but this is, for me, this is what I find to be best practice. As with most of the stuff in the video, this works for me. It might not work for you, it might not work for your wheels. You might need a smaller detailing brush, or you might get away with a bigger one, but for me on my TT, this is what works, so I thought I'd give you a little insight. Next, taking the Finesse hog hair detailing brush, quite nice to use on this. So I go around the centre cap detailing and around the valve stem as well. The long bristles just helps to tackle them areas my my wash mitt's not gonna reach. So once the wash mitt's loaded up with suds, get right deep into the wheel, making sure I tuck my hand and thumb behind the spokes as well to ensure they're clean as well. You've seen me use wheel wash mitts, specifically like the half cut Thinger ones in the past, but I've recently swapped over to the wash mitt because I find that it offers a bit more cleaning surface area when I'm doing it, so I'm often cleaning more of the face while I'm also cleaning behind the wheel. And not only this, but I find that the finger wheel mitts that I was using previously, I was only getting 1 or 2 months use out of them. And don't get me wrong, I clean my car once a week, every week, and I look after a couple of other cars, but I just felt I can't be buying one of them every month or two, so I went for a wash mitt that I knew lasted well, was a nice quality as well, in the Finesse Extra Plush wash mitt. Once the face of the wheel's done, a little spruce over the tyre itself and then into the wheel arch that I'd previously soaked in Finesse Verso. The tyre doesn't, and the wheel arch in fact, doesn't take too much because they're always protected with water-based dressings, so you never find a lot of grime sticks to them as it would if I was to use an oil or silicone-based tyre dressing. Once the wheel arch and wheel has been completely washed down, I'm satisfied with a clean, I take the Kranzle K10 pressure washer and rinse the wheel clean, making sure that I'm happy with it, and then if any further areas need addressing, then I do so. Once this is done, step and repeat and go around the car and ensure all 4 wheels are done. Again, I use the same process front to back on each car. Once the wheels are done, I take this opportunity of the stage of the wash to wash my my little back box that you've seen me previously polish on other videos. You do this now because I get to use the wheel bucket that's already a little bit grimy, and I don't have to then use my nice Adams car pad, wash mint / pad. So I just spray a small amount of Auto Finesse citrus power onto the tips themselves and the surrounding sort of diffuser area. Give it a minute or two just to dwell in whilst I bring my bucket over, and then rinse that off. This just aids the cleaning process slightly. As you'll see, it doesn't do everything for me because I don't leave it on long enough, but just mentally it does something for me. And once I've done that, I take my wash mitt and get into my tip, get sure that's clean, and then get under the back box while I'm there as well, as I've also spent time previously detailing that, and then onto the other tip. Wash mitt back into the bucket, and then a quick rinse off with the Kranzle Pressure washer again. With the wheels and exhaust now clean, I take my time and go around with Auto Finesse Citrus Power. This is my pre-wash. I've always used this and always will, I think. Sometimes I'm dipping in and out of snow foam, but I can never settle on them. For me, sometimes they just seem a little bit too much hassle. I keep my Auto Finesse Citrus Power in my Mesto 1.5 litre pressure spray bottle. Because of the amount I use, I just tend to find it quite a bit easier to keep it in this bottle. I know I can get a good covering, a good soaking on the car, which is crucial at this time of the year, really, going into winter. I make sure all of the lower areas of the car are completed, and then whilst that is then sitting and doing its thing, attaching to the grime and pulling it away and all of that good stuff, I take my wash buckets out of the garage, take them into my mum's kitchen, and then make sure I'm using some nice hot water. It's kind of a mental thing. Maybe it does something nice to the paint, maybe it doesn't, but at this time of the year in England, when the temperature's like 5 degrees and you're washing your car, there's nothing better than some nice warm soapy water to dip your hands in when you wash it. Once that's done, I take a good couple of squirts of Adams Car Shampoo onto my wash pad on either side, and then into the wash bucket, give it a little swirl around and let that dissolve into the water, whilst I then go back and tackle that pre-wash once again. So once I'm back onto the pre-wash, I take my Kranzle Pressure washer and pressure wash from top to bottom. Of course, you don't need to be using a pressure washer. I do it. I saved up for a long time to get this one and I'm really chuffed with it. But as you'll see on previous videos, I've done well with a hose for a long time. In my eyes, this is probably one of the most important steps when I think about cleaning my car. The pre-wash, I think many overlook it already, but a good amount of time spent now will ensure a very safe wash process in the not so distant future, ensuring that I'm rinsing the car as I wash it from top to bottom, covering every square inch of the panel methodically to ensure that most of that grime is gone from the citrus power that I've previously applied. By no means do I get this car super dirty, but it's dirty enough for me, I think. But you can see how well with these close-ups the Auto Finesse Citric Power does with rinsing away that grime. And on the back end, as we move round, I took the jet wash and did sort of a 50-50 down the middle of the rear bumper, just so you could kind of catch a glimpse of how dirty the car was and what the Auto Finesse does for it, and how it rinses it clean quite nicely. Kind of, I think everyone likes a 50-50, so why not do it, you know? Once the back bumper's fully rinsed off, I take my pressure washer and move into the wash bucket and give them shampoo and wash pad and water right good suds up and make sure it's fully mixed in, ready for the wash process. Once that's done, I take my second grip guard and then put it into the bucket. Note that I don't have the grip guard in the bucket whilst I'm putting the jet wash in. I always find that once I dip the jet wash in and there's a grip guard in, it just blows the grip guard around and pulls the feet off the bottom of it. And once that's done, the wash process can begin. Starting top to bottom, working in straight lines, as everyone I'm sure that's probably watching this video already does and already knows, it's the 2-bucket wash method. The car's previously been protected with Auto Finesse Desire Wax. I'm yet to take some real time to clay and detar and de-ionize, detail and polish the paintwork and dial it in, as Matt Mormon would say, but I thought when I got the car I wanted to put a little bit of protection on it going into winter, obviously, so I opted for Auto Finesse Desire. Quite a premium wax, but I don't know, what's the point in buying £120 wax if you're not going to use it? That's what I think, and it's super easy to use. So of course I worked the roof and window areas first on this car. It's quite nice, this car, to wash because you get that top divide line around that roof and window line, and then from there you can move on to other top half of the car, which I see as the bonnet, and once I've done that I move on to the top half of the doors. I've kind of marked that off as the side skirts would be the lower half of the car, and the lower bumper. I think the TT is kind of good because it gives you all these kind of straight lines of where you can cut off on your wash point, and you get that with other cars like Mercedes and BMWs. You get your trim lines around the car, and it's kind of nice. It just gives you a little helping hand. As you can see, I've got my rinse and my wash bucket. Give that wash mitt a good rinse out, and then back into that wash bucket to get some more soap and more suds. The Adams car wash pad I've recently moved on to. Thought about it for a long time, and then see a couple of people using it, see how much soap and suds it held in, and kind of dived in for it. I was a bit skeptical it being white. I think that's the only downside to it. Other than that, it's a real great wash pad, but to every downside you have a positive side, I guess, and that positive side sees that I'm not picking up loads of dirt onto the wash pad where my pre-wash was done properly and thoroughly before, so I know I'm not going to be scratching the hell out of the paintwork with the grime that's being attached into that wash pad. once I've done the top half of the car with the, well, let's say 80% of the car with the Adams wash pad, I take my wash mitt or wash pad from Microfibre Madness and go for them super grimy areas, which is that lower portion of the car that you can see, the lower rear bumper, the lower side skirts and the lower front bumper, which I previously said was quite nicely marked out on this TT. The Microfibre Madness isn't such of a heavy pile, so it allows me to rinse that heavier grime out quite nicely before going on to the other section. And while I'm down here, I usually push the door open on each side as I'm doing that side skirt and just give that little door jamb a quick rinse through. Just saves me dirtying up my drying towel with any crud and grime that might be like lingering in there after the rinse process. Once the wash stage is done from top to bottom, front to back, and the two door shuts, I take the Kranzle Pressure washer and again thoroughly, like the pre-wash, rinse the vehicle down from top to bottom, paying quite a lot of attention to each square inch of the panel to ensure that the car is thoroughly rinsed down, so when I'm drying the car there's no more suds and I know there's no more suspended dirt in any areas, you know, just probably more of a mental thing again. I know some people kind of blast over this stage a little bit quicker than I do, but I don't know, it's just the way I do things and the way my mind works when I'm doing these detailing tasks, just to take that like extra minute or two on each section just to make sure it's as good as I can get it, ensuring each like area is rinsed through properly and thoroughly. Once I've done that and I'm happy with how I've rinsed the car down in each area, each side, top to bottom, grills, every little crack and orifice, what I do is I unscrew the end from the Kranzle pressure washer, like that metal wand end that directs the water. Unscrew that and then I turn the machine off, and then what I do is I use the lance then just to put a trickle of water out, which then helps with the sheeting of the water. This was kind of picked up quite a lot on the previous video, so I thought I'd better show that I actually do it. It just saves then dragging another hose out or whatever it means. I can do it through the Kranzle, but you'll see what I mean. And it just helps reduce the amount of water that you're then picking up with your drying towel, which will be evident later on in the video. So once that wash process is done and the rinsing's done, then move on to mid-drying. drying process always starts off with me getting some quick detailer. In this instance, it's AMD Detailer Plus. Yeah, quick Detailer Plus. Make sure it's on squirt, and then I go around, not really like paying a lot of attention, but I just kind of mist a car down with a quick detailer. Just kind of a thing to make sure that I'm drying the car maybe a little bit safer. I'll probably get that from Lariat Ammo, and then I don't know, I think it tops up mitt protection as well, and just all in all just gives it a bit of a better drying process. Once that's done, drop that back in and take a yellow plush, I don't know what you call these, ultra plush microfiber towels, and then set to work drying the car from top to bottom, and kind of in the same process that I washed the car, in straight lines, no real force on the drying towel, where we've used a combination of the open ends water sheeting technique when we're rinsing the car down, and then using the quick detailer. What I'm kind of pulling up is really minimal. Unfortunately, at this point, my other camera died when I picked DSLR, so I had to revert to a little handy camera point and shoot thing to capture the last of the footage, hence why the colour's gone off a little bit. But yeah, just like I say, in the same process that I'm washing the car, I'm also drying it. No real mad pressure on it. Take time at this stage to dry the windscreen wipers as well, because if you don't, you'll dry the bonnet, and then for like the next 10 minutes you'll just get drips and drips of water onto your bonnet where you haven't dried the windscreen wipers. So I dry them now and then just sit them back down on the windscreen, so I know they're done, dusted, and I'm ready to move on from that stage. Finally, I thought I'd lay the towel out and show you how wet the towel actually gets after that drying process. And as you can see, I would say that quarter there is wet, and maybe one or two other areas are properly wet. Other than that, the towel's just damp. That's just because of the process we used to dry the car was as efficient as possible. And once the car, like the main body, has been dried, I open all the door shuts and just give them a quick little wipe down just to make sure they're still in check, still gleaming, and dry, so you don't get any silly little water leaks as you drive off on your car. Once those areas are done and dusted, it's on to the final stage of the drying process for me, which is taking the Metro Sidekick Blaster, which I've shot a video on previously. I use this every wash without fail, and for me it is a fantastic piece of kit because I don't have an air compressor in my garage. So all I do is I plug and go, and then I've got like this little portable canister of air. And for me, what I use this for is blowing off the wheels, the tyres and the barrels of the wheels to ensure that they're clean. So if I need to wax them, I can wax them, or then I'm ready just to go in straight apply the tyre dressing. For me, it's just like this mental thing that the wheels are done and ready to go. Once that's done, the next stage is going on to finishing the car, and the kind of the 3 points of call that I do to finish the exterior off, which is what we're concentrating in this video. First things first, I always do the job that I don't want to cross-contaminate with any other jobs, is cleaning my glass. I've swapped between loads and loads of glass cleaners. As you'll see, I've done videos on BD Clean glass care products. I've done videos on Stoner products, which I used for quite a long time. But I always dip in and out of this product, and that's what a Finesse crystal. For me, I don't know, there's something about it, it just does like this really good raw clean, and I know it's done the job properly because once I get to that final stage of buffing that glass off, it gets grippy from how clean the glass actually is, and for me that kind of signifies how clean the glass is, and I know I've done a nice job then. And to accompany the crystal, I use a really short pile glass towel that I just got from like an auto parts store. I bought a pack of 10 ages ago, and they've just lasted me really well. And if I'm not using this, I'd go with something like a waffle cloth. I believe that short pile, when cleaning glass, gives you the best chance to get streak-free glass. With the glass now done, it's time to move on to probably what I would say sort of a messier job in the finishing processes, and that's dressing the tyres and arches and all your rubber trim. Here I take Meguiars hyper dressing, which I've diluted down 3 to 4 to 1 with some water. I spray that quite liberally in the wheel wells, and then once I've gone round each wheel well and done that individually, I've gone back in with the tyre dressing that I fancy using that day, and on my car I still use Ammo Mud tyre dressing. I don't know, I just love this product, and if I'm not using that, I'll use Auto Finesse satin. Well, once that's done, the outside is generally done at that point. If needs be, I'll go in and hoover the car, but if not, that's my maintenance wash, and that's what I'm doing nowadays, and this is what I'm driving nowadays. So little update there for you guys, but hopefully you find it useful and insightful into what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. As always, thanks for watching, appreciate the views, subscribes and all of that good stuff. So be sure to comment, share, like, subscribe for more detailing videos in the near future. Cheers.